This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's get to the matches here on the show. First up, we got R-Truth pinning King Barrett on a pre-show match, 5 minutes, 47 seconds. Barrett comes out with a new royal outfit. He calls R-Truth the village idiot. Meltzer would say it's a decent match. He gave it a star and 3/4. R-Truth, is we've said a lot about him here on the show. We love R-Truth. I hope he wrestles forever. He adds a lot to every program. He steals a scene. He, as JR would say, makes the most of his minutes. But King Barrett, this is a guy who has started to flirt a little bit online with Drew McIntyre. The idea that, hey, maybe he does want to come back to wrestling. Maybe he does want to challenge his old pal for the world title or the universal title, as it were. Are you surprised that Barrett has stayed away as long as he has? I really assumed, that Barrett might have popped up in AEW or somewhere else. We saw him do some commentary with the NWA, but I'm still shocked he hasn't gone back to WWE or done something with AEW. What can you tell us about Wade Barrett, King Barrett, whatever you want to call him?
Well, I'm not going to call him King Barrett because to me, that is such a dated gimmick. So cheesy. I haven't seen anyone, probably besides Booker T, who became King of the Ring and actually got some heat and some entertainment value out of being King of the Ring. But it's because Booker had all that personality that he could bring to it. For someone to try to get legitimate heat, like a Wade Barrett, who had good size, he had good promos, his work was good, his pacing was good, all that did was hurt him, in my estimation, because it's just a cheesy, dated gimmick that maybe at one time was meant to put heat on a guy, but now it's just a guy coming to the ring with a crown, in a robe, and a staff, and it's the same thing. I mean, how many things can you do in that get up to get heat? And I think it probably left a bad taste in Wade's mouth. If that's all they could do was to come up with him. The Nexus thing was kicking ass. If they would have left that alone and gave it the same attention that you were going to give, say, a tag team that you were putting with Bobby Heenan, to try to get them, a shot in the ass right away and give them a good shove and get some good heat on them. If you were going to go that route, okay. But the Nexus guys were all young guys that could have ran another year, and people recognized Wade being like the head of that group. And it was just because of his mic skills, and he felt like a guy that would be in charge, that could impose his will on his opponents and, direct his guys into a successful attack. And you had some young studs in that group. I think the biggest fumble was breaking up the Nexus way before their time. And I think Wade probably got a bad taste in his mouth about the business because he knew he had ability. He knew he had all the tools, and they still weren't using him worth of crap. And for a talent that's not in this business, just to be on TV and be a big shot in their neighborhood and get recognized going through airports and all those trivial things, for a guy that wants to learn this business and be a player over a decade or a decade and a half and be a top guy and wrestle all the top guys and be the best he can possibly be from a performance standpoint, where you have them talking about your matches a decade later or 2 decades later, or your interview skills. My feeling was Wade probably wanted to aspire to be as good as he could possibly be, because he always asked questions. And he was never seemed like he was happy with his performance 100%, which I respect, because you never should be. You never should be 100%. That couldn't get any better. If you can't get any better, you're getting worse. And that's my feeling. I don't know, you'd have to ask Wade, but I think he was an incredible talent that was not realized, and it wasn't his fault.
Today, we're not going too far back. We're going to Money in the Bank 2015. This one happened on June 14th, 2015 at Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. It's a sellout crowd, 13,000 fans on hand. 12,000 of those were paying. Columbus, Ohio is not necessarily a town we talk about a lot. It feels like we talk about Cleveland and other big markets, but Columbus was a big market for wrestling. And I mean, it's evident here with the 2015 sellout, right?
Yes, sir. A lot of history. If you go back and check the history, Columbus, going back to even when Ole was in charge of Georgia Championship Wrestling, and the tours with Tommy Rich and Buzz Sawyer and all those guys on top. You go all the way back there that I can account for. Those have always been strong markets, in Ohio. And Columbus, to this day, a lot of great wrestling fans in Columbus. They really support wrestling, and they come out in droves, and it's a good deal for everybody involved.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.